CS2 Premier Mode is actually good.
If you have Global Offensive Prime, a matchmaking rank, and are in one of the regions where the limited test is running, you now have access to the Counter-Strike 2 not-so-limited test. Everything I talked about in the last video turned out to be true. We now have Premier Mode with a rating system, MR12 will be the new normal, a completely remade Inferno, and a lot of other stuff that I have.
God, don't show me in-game of CS2. All I think about is the losses right now. I see this, I think about another loss. Another minus 400 elo.
Been suggesting for many years. Normally when I
can't see this game anymore right now.
Show off a new map, I do some floaty, aesthetically pleasing shots, but with the CSTV update, SV spec speed no longer does anything, so I can either walk around the map or zoom. Valve, please fix. Premier Mode is meant to replace Faceit, but you needed to have a matchmaking rank in order to test it, meaning a huge chunk of Faceit exclusive players will not have access to the test, which is the exact group of people that you'd want to test it.
Yeah.
We just got catch-22'd. Here's what matchmaking looks like now. The normal competitive mode.
Chat, if you're currently in that bucket, there will probably be some people in that bucket who didn't have a rank and then all of a sudden, I need to have a rank to have CS2 access. Play some right now, yeah? Get a win, get your rank. And what happened was, on first day, right, they rolled it out. You got your win, you still didn't have access. Overnight, you got your access. So still don't just give up. No, get your rank, and then hopefully over this night maybe, in 24 hours you have your access, okay?
Mode is staying the same, except it's going to 12-round halves, and we have a map-dependent ranking system, meaning you'll have a separate rank for each map. Vertiglobals are now an official thing. One of the big—
Bro, listen. Chat, do people even play normal matchmaking? I've seen not a single streamer play a normal CS2. Everybody plays Premier. Everybody talks about Premier. Everybody cares about Premier. I wonder who's queuing normal MM right now. And I wonder what the queue times are like.
Biggest problems with global offensive.
You can't? Oh, it's off? Aha, it's only Premier? Oh, my bad.
Matchmaking is that players are able to choose which map they want to play. So they could queue solely for one map, like Mirage, get really good at it, rank up to Global Elite, and then become scared to play any other map, because if they queue for them, their rank is going to go down. They're now facing Global Elite players when they don't have the experience or the map knowledge. Part of being a good Counter-Strike player is expanding your own personal map pool, which requires a lot of training and expertise on each map. Valve is trying to please everybody here. That's a very dangerous proposition.
Why y'all say you? It's not me, bro. Bro, this guy. How did you even find that emoji? Bro, I swear. Bro, I'm decent on...
But this is a very smart solution to it. Players who want the freedom to queue for whatever map they want, let's say they only like to play Mirage, Inferno, Overpass because they are boring. Yes, I'm talking to you. They can still do that. They're not going to be penalized for it. And players who want to expand their map pool can do it without it destroying their rank. 5v5 competitive matchmaking has become a way for players to train specific maps, learn new maps, and hone their skills before venturing into the—
That's actually cool though. I just realized, imagine if you queue all maps on the ones that you're good at, you will have a high rank, you will play against better enemies, right? Rise up in the ranks. And then boom, all of a sudden I queue into a Mirage game, but I will play against Silvers because I'm trash on Mirage. And I can study it more. I like that.
Real competitive, which is Premier Mode. Premier Mode has its own rating system that's separate from the ranks, so it's not Global Elite, it's a number value. And they've got a leaderboard to compare yourself to everyone else around the world and in your own region. Haven't got my rank yet, but I've been experiencing the joys of solo queue.
I gotta kill you, WarOwl! I gotta kill you!
Wait, no, stop! Don't do it! To clarify, the rating system in Premier is not map specific. When you queue for Premier, every map in the active duty is on the table. You could end up playing any map. The first thing you do is go through a map veto system. Here's how it works. The first team bans 2 maps. Just click on the map that you don't want to play. Then the second team bans 3 maps. Again, just click on the map
Don't
that you
ban
don't
Vertigo,
want to
Vertigo,
play.
Vertigo!
Finally, the
Please!
first team bans 1 map, which decides the final map.
WarOwl W.
Then the other team picks what side to start on. When in doubt, pick CT side, but I wonder if MR12 might change that. Here's a little pro tip. Get your lobby to veto Mirage, Inferno, Overpass, and you'll just dominate players who use a small map pool as a crutch. Having a small personal map pool—
That didn't work for me. Does it mean that I'm the one getting crushed? Bro, that didn't work for me.
Is now a weakness that will affect your rating over time. Identify and exploit your opponent's weaknesses. The veto process is the first strategic decision that your team is going to make. Don't take it lightly. After you win 10 games of Premier, you'll get a rating and you'll be able to see yourself compared to everyone.
Someone says, you don't have a map pool. That's true. I have a map. Oh my god.
Else, and everyone else will also see you. Hello, anxiety. Interesting note about MR12 from the blog post. Over the past decade, we've shipped updates to the economy and weapon balance to trim the fat and reduce the number of uncontested rounds in a match of CS. Because of these changes, exciting competitive matches can now be resolved with fewer rounds. So they didn't change the economy to fit MR12. They said, well, we already did that. Later on, it says, we expect the structure and flow of matches to evolve over time as the community adapts. Which is the nicest way I've ever seen anyone say, get good. In my own games, I have very much been enjoying MR12, and so far I prefer it. For a pug, having shorter matches is a much more enjoyable experience. I think this is a great change for the vast majority of players, and it's a good way to get more people to play more matchmaking games. The question is...
Agreed. Very much agreed, bro. Once again, there was a stat from, I think, Letify or something, and 50% of all games played were short games already. You know, a lot of people enjoy short games, a lot of people play it. A lot of people don't want to play long games, which sometimes can take not 1 hour, but like 50 minutes or something. If we want to have a competitive one with overtime and stuff, it could literally take 1 hour sometime. All of a sudden, you queue with 4 randoms, right? All of a sudden, one of them leaves because the game goes for 1 hour instead of the 40 minutes that he planned in. It's just better in all regards. We will probably have less leavers. It will be nice for esports. Not a 4-hour best of 3, but like a 3-hour best of 3 maximum. Yeah. We will have less randomness. Why? Because we will probably not have best of 1s anymore. Valorant doesn't have best of 1s. It's MR12. They have only best of 3s, which is less random. And if you say, oh, but MR12 is random already, all of the Cologne playoff games would have went the same way if they stopped at 13. It seems good. Less saving, probably. The saving meta. Watch an Inferno Pro game. Virtus Pro. Oh, jeepers.
What is this gonna look like in the professional scene? Pro matches are a completely different game than the pugs that you and I play, and it's important for Counter-Strike to be a great experience for both us and the pro scene. Even though people who play at that level, it's an extremely small amount of people. I think the best mentality to approach a change like this is to, instead of complaining and whining, try to adapt to the changes to best dominate your opponents. That's the best way to show that something is poorly designed. Remember my recent video where I compared the first Global Offensive Grand Final to the last Global Offensive Grand Final and how absurdly different people played back then? People will adapt. How people play Counter-Strike is actually going to look different at the pro level, even though the change seems minimal, just removing 3 rounds from a half. Once matches start getting played, we're gonna see what MR12 looks like. If there's any major problems, if it's hard for teams to build an economy and come back after losing the pistol round, then we'll get some changes later on. And if not, then I will be the first one to come and whine and complain with you. There are no bots in Premier mode. If one of your teammates leaves the game, abandons, your team gets the option to surrender. If a single player on your team chooses to surrender, the game ends. I'm fine with this. 4v5 is a...
I think it's better than 3 people having to vote yes. Because if there's like one single believer, there's one random delusional guy that makes you waste however many, like if a game is lost and then like one guy who wants to troll. But one is crazy. If it's the other way around, if a single guy is maybe tilted, then he can single-handedly surrender. I don't know. One seems crazy.
Shut the fuck
miserable
up,
experience. I don't think
because of you I'm starting to build an INV smile, nothing special but with a lot of love in it. Cause Bruder blind so we do this.
Do you want me to check it or? Thank you for the 10, man. I appreciate that, bro.
players should be penalized just because someone disconnected. Just re-queue, get back in there, find a better game. One thing I gotta say for new people getting into the limited test, I've been repeating this in a lot of my videos, but it is important, Counter-Strike 2 is not Global Offensive 2. It's a completely new game on a different engine made from the ground up, and it's gonna feel and play different than you're used to, and while we're in the testing phase, and probably for some time after release, there are going to be glitches, bugs, and problems related to your specific rig and settings. We're gonna be seeing a lot of them now because a lot of people just got invited to it. If you find something that's off, report it to Valve by email, cs2team@valvesoftware.com, title your email CS2LT space bug space dash space, and then the information to help them figure it out. And
don't be lazy. If you want a nice game, if you're tilted at CS2, write an email. Do it, yeah? Keys in your hands. Write an email, boom, you already know.
remember, just because something is different than you're used to does not make it bad.
You're helping them so much by sending out emails, yeah? You crying on X doesn't help.
But also, just because something is new does not make it good. The best way to help make Counter-Strike 2 the best game that it could possibly be is to provide meaningful and helpful feedback to the developers. This is the update where it really set in for me. It's the first time in a long time I felt truly optimistic and hopeful for the future of Counter-Strike. This is what they needed to do. For years now, I've had no desire to play competitive Counter-Strike, let alone matchmaking. I pretty much have only enjoyed the game by doing 10-mans with friends or messing around with the mods.
Really?
And now the limited test or the mostly open beta feels alive. There's people playing it all the time. There's tons of discussions happening as a result. There's feedback all over the place. With Premiere Mode, with this update, I can see the bright future that Counter-Strike has. Maybe a little too bright in some places. Spawning CT side Inferno is like getting flashbanged every round. Look at this. This guy took the picture from my tweet, misspelled the title, and then got #1 on the Global Offensive subreddit. But yeah, while we're making big changes, can we get rid of the weird desaturation during the freeze
Yoink.
times? I see absolutely no benefit to having it and only see benefits to removing it. People need to see each other's stuff, trade items, and check out the cool weapon finishes. Oh, that's it! Valve! Get rid of the grayscale intro and I bet you'll increase your weapon finish sales. The new Inferno looks absolutely stunning. There are a lot of smart changes to the geometry, the most notable being the removal of the graveyard wall. I would say that the biggest problem with Inferno is how difficult it is to retake, particularly A site, and I actually think removing that wall will help in a small way. There's also some things that suck, but I'm gonna be going through these in detail like I did with my Overpass video because guess what? Nearly everything I pointed out in my Overpass video got fixed. I went through Overpass like a week after I made that video and I was like, huh, all those things I complained about seem to be completely gone. If you're upset that the full release of CS2 isn't out
Maybe it's because you complained about it. Inferno will never get fixed, aware?
yet, welcome to Valve time. This is the way it's always been. Valve does not release something until it's done. A guy named Shigeru Miyamoto once said, "A delayed game is eventually good, but a rushed game is forever bad." He said this about a little game called Ocarina of Time. And then ironically, they rushed the team to make the sequel Majora's Mask in less than a year, and then strangely, that game was actually good.
Damn.
So things are not black and white. This is just how Valve works. When they said summer 2023, that could also mean fall 2024. I don't think anyone who's been around for a while thought this game was gonna come out anytime soon.
Yeah.
My prediction is it comes out in a couple of weeks. I don't like editing memes into my video. I think it is lazy trash content. So I will have you imagine a scene of a man with a noose around his neck, turning to you and saying, "First time? Counter-Strike 2 will be out when the game is done." And now I am done with this video. Thanks for watching. I'm the WarOwl and I still have no closer.
No closer. W.